The night she said she needed a husband by tomorrow, the rain outside my apartment window sounded like fate knocking too hard. Everything in my life had been quiet until that moment, painfully quiet, the kind that makes you question whether you still matter. I had just come home from a double shift, shoes soaked, heart tired, when those words landed between us like a challenge neither of us was ready for. Some moments don't announce themselves as life-changing, but they carve their mark the second they arrive, and this was one of them. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and ordinary people doing extraordinary things when it matters most, take a second right now to like this video, comment what kindness means to you, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel so more stories like this can reach the right hearts. My name is Matthew Collins, and this happened in a small, forgettable town in Ohio, the kind of place people pass through without noticing. I was 34, divorced, and living in a modest apartment I barely decorated because I never planned to stay long anywhere. I worked maintenance at a local hospital, fixing broken lights and leaky pipes, while quietly fixing nothing inside myself. Faith had once been my anchor, but after my marriage failed and my mother passed away within the same year, I felt like God had gone silent. Then Clara Whitmore walked back into my life like a chapter I thought had ended. Clara and I had grown up in the same church, singing in the same Christmas choir, praying side by side before life pulled us in different directions. She had married young, moved to Indiana, and vanished from my daily thoughts. When she appeared at the hospital one afternoon, pale and shaking, asking if we could talk, I saw fear in her eyes that went deeper than embarrassment. Her husband, a charming man with a cruel temper, had died suddenly, leaving behind debt, suspicion, and a powerful family convinced Clara had something to hide. Worse, her in-laws were threatening to take her home and control every part of her future unless she proved she had stability, protection, and a respectable household. In their eyes, a single widow was weak, but a married woman was untouchable. That was how she ended up standing in my kitchen, hands trembling around a chipped mug, telling me she needed a husband by tomorrow. Not love, not romance, just a name and a roof that could shield her from being dragged back into a life she barely survived. I didn't answer right away because I knew what agreeing would cost. My reputation, my peace, my carefully built emotional walls. I also knew what refusing would cost her. So I told her she could come and live at my place, not as a savior, not as a hero, but as a man choosing to stand when walking away would be easier. The next days felt unreal. We filed paperwork, spoke to a quiet county clerk, and signed our names with shaking hands. There was no celebration, no white dress, only the heavy awareness that we were building something out of necessity and faith. Living together tested every fragile part of us. Clara woke up from nightmares, gasping for air, while I lay awake pretending sleep, praying silently for her pain to ease. I learned how deeply words can wound by watching her flinch at raised voices on television. She learned how loneliness can make a grown man eat dinner standing over the sink just to avoid silence. People talked, of course. Church friends whispered, coworkers raised eyebrows, and rumors spread like wildfire. Some nights I wondered if I had made the biggest mistake of my life. But then there were moments that felt holy in their simplicity. Shared meals after long days, prayers spoken softly before bed, the slow return of laughter, cautious at first, then genuine. Clara began volunteering at a shelter, helping women escape situations she knew too well. Watching her grow stronger reminded me that faith isn't always loud miracles. Sometimes it's quiet endurance. Months passed, and the lie we had built for protection started feeling dangerously close to truth. Not because we pretended, but because something real was growing beneath the surface. I found myself looking forward to coming home. She started trusting joy again. One evening, after a difficult court meeting that finally ended the threats from her past, Clara broke down in tears of relief. In that moment, I realized my heart had already chosen her, long before my mind allowed it. Just before the ending of this story, I want to ask you something special. Please comment the word hope if you believe that broken beginnings can still lead to beautiful endings. We stood at a crossroads then, knowing we could walk away, clean and honest, or step forward into something deeper. Faith, the same faith I thought I'd lost, whispered that love doesn't always arrive wrapped in certainty. Sometimes it grows from compassion, patience, and shared scars. We chose to stop pretending and start being real, not because we needed to, but because we wanted to. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness can change lives and that God often works through ordinary choices, please like this video, share it, and subscribe. Your support helps stories like this reach others who are still waiting for their miracle. Today, Clara and I still live in that same apartment, now filled with warmth, prayer, and purpose. We didn't plan this love, but we honored it when it arrived. And every time the rain hits the window at night, it no longer sounds like fate knocking too hard. It sounds like grace finding its way in.